Hi everybody. I've just realised why the video wasn't that clear. I was using the screen over over the screen of the iPhone. Well, it seems like the glory level is out now, uh, and people referring to it as that, or third level, or third feast, or whatever. It seems like people are starting to see that there's something out there. I just want to describe something because this isn't probably coming over with some people, and you're getting very puzzled. Um, think of it like dimensions on a drawing board or something. You've got two. Well, in maths they use x, don't they? X up the vertical and then y down the other side. Now, imagine you have a cube. Well, let's say for now. Oh dear, my face is a mess. Um, Say you have a square, a small square to begin with, and then you know that if you extend the size of the square in the two directions, it grows, doesn't it? Now think in three dimensions. Okay, so you've got a cube now, and it's growing and growing and growing. Now up one side is the glory level. Thinking of going into the Holy of Holies. And I think God gets that over to us first, especially as we're growing younger, because we don't have a clue. We're coming out of Genesis 3. We don't know anything else. We don't know anything other than independent life. So it's me here and God out there. So God gets our attention by perhaps telling us very obvious, so breaking into our reality with very obvious supernatural things, to just say, look, there's this whole X side, this dimension here called the glory, and it goes up this wall here. So if you imagine that, it's going upwards. But in reality, God's life is substance. Three-dimensional, four-dimensional, X-dimensional substance. So as one thing is going up, other things are going sideways. Now, in this thing, you cannot have one without the other. So I've been watching Brandon, and I really recommend his videos. Daniel Aaron told me about them. So he was a guy converting out of Teen Challenge, and he's really describing third level things from the glory level point of view, and that many people are now experienced. But I just wanting to say that even as he talks, he's hitting other things and wisdom about other things that the glory level extends into. You see, it's expanding us in all dimensions, and it does. While we're not seeing really the independent self and how it works, because it really has to be revelation, and it really has to be learning by making mistakes. Really, it has to be a continual process of Proverbs 1, making Proverbs 1 crashes. And you think, well, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? And you're asking inner questions. What is the inner reason why that thing didn't work? What happened? It's the only way we really grab hold, because it's like a mirror world that was opened up to us in Genesis 3, which is not a real world, but it looks real to us. And another way of describing that, which I've just said, is that okay, two people in a room, Jesus and another man. Jesus is sent into that room to raise up someone to be healed. He has to put the other person out of the room because his reality, and he is reality and life, was being affected by the other man's belief system. That's how powerful the Genesis 3 thing is. Only Jesus doesn't just have to put another man out of the room, he has to do that with our brain. And he can't put our brain out of the room because we're all one person. So you can imagine and start to see how everything has to be altered. So if we are going to live a different life and see Acts 2 and the sort of church in Acts 2 and actually the glory of the latter house is dimensionally bigger than Acts 2. It's extended in all ways, and Acts 2, as we know, was so good that Marxism tried to copy it without being born again, without any reference to God. They just looked at the outside external factors, and Karl Marx thought, oh, we'll have some of that, and we'll use the Methodist system of class teaching in little groups to have communist cells, and we'll take over the world. And they almost did. But the bad fruit, which never got dealt with, the independent self, the Genesis 3 aspect, was never ever touched or dealt with. So 60, 70 years on, Russia was a basket case, and communist in China was a basket case, and they needed Western input, and they needed to be back in trading with the West even to survive. And that's the thing. I'm not saying the West is any good either, because if communism is a certain type of Ponzi system, that is a fake system, pyramid system, leeching off the bottom and then eventually crumbling, then the West and stocks and shares are just the same. It's just over a longer period and more disguised. A better, good form of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but still evil. So the third level is not only entering, as 1 John 2 says, at entry level, it's knowing the Father. That's it's kind of knowing the cradling love of the Father. That whole Toronto thing, which came really afresh in the Toronto move, is level 1 stuff, stage 1 stuff in 1 John 2. And it grows and grows and grows until, because Jesus says we have to begin again as little children, we learn every aspect of life again, but this time in the Father, on the foundational Father relationship that God has brought us into. Juan Carlos Ortiz said in 76, in the time to come, people will be born in the third level. In actual fact, every Christian at all times, if you're having anything to do with I am God, that's where he dwells. So if you're having anything to do with him, that's where you're having to do with. Because God doesn't have outside anterooms. He just is where he is. And if you have anything to do with God at all, it's in the Holy of Holies. But that isn't the problem. So we're born again at spirit level in the Holy of Holies. It's the rest of us that has to catch up.